Imagine a world where some of the most brilliant inventions didn't just vanish into history books. What if the devices that once promised to change America forever had survived, evolved, and become part of our everyday lives? From machines that defied imagination to ideas that were simply ahead of their time, America's history is filled with inventions that came, dazzled, and disappeared, leaving us to wonder what might have been. Take, for example, the steam-powered automobiles of the early 1900s. Before gasoline engines ruled the roads, steam cars were cleaner, quieter, and surprisingly efficient. For a while, it seemed like steam would power the future of transportation. But as oil became cheap and gasoline cars easier to produce, the steam car faded into history. Imagine if steam cars had stayed. America might have entered a cleaner age of transport decades earlier, avoiding much of the pollution crisis we face today. Then there's the pneumatic tube system. Believe it or not, New York City once had miles of underground tubes that delivered letters and packages across the city in minutes. It was like email before the internet, only mechanical. Clerks would load a letter into a canister, send it through a pressurized tube, and boom, it arrived blocks away almost instantly. This invention had the power to revolutionize communication, but it was too costly, too complex, and eventually abandoned. If America had kept building that system, maybe we'd be living in cities where packages and even food orders arrived through massive networks of tubes running right beneath our feet. And who can forget the flying cars of the 1950s? Yes, real prototypes existed. One, called the Aero car, could drive on the highway and then unfold wings to take off into the sky. It wasn't science fiction, it was tested and flown. Yet government restrictions, safety concerns, and a lack of mass production meant flying cars never made it into American garages. Today we look at drones and electric vertical takeoff crafts and think it's the future. But the truth is, America almost had it 70 years ago. Now let's talk about the Telstar satellite phone booths of the 1960s. At the time, America was racing into space and experimenting with ways to let ordinary people make calls across the world via satellites. The booths looked futuristic, and the idea was groundbreaking. You could speak with someone in another continent in real time. But with high costs and rising competition from landline companies, the project was scrapped. If that vision had stayed alive, maybe satellite communication would have advanced far earlier, and our mobile world could have arrived decades before it actually did. And perhaps one of the strangest lost inventions, the dynasphere. Imagine a gigantic wheel, so big a person could sit inside and drive it. Built in the 1930s, it looked like something out of a sci-fi comic, a single rolling wheel that carried its driver like a futuristic pod. It worked, but it wasn't practical on normal roads. It vanished as quickly as it appeared. But in today's world, where personal mobility is being reimagined with electric scooters and pods, the dynasphere feels like an invention that was simply ahead of its time. America has always been a testing ground for big, bold ideas. Some succeed, others fade away. But when we look back at the inventions that disappeared, we realize something powerful. Each one carried a vision of a different America, one that could have been cleaner, faster, stranger, or more connected. These lost inventions remind us that progress isn't a straight line. It's full of experiments, failures, and forgotten sparks of brilliance. So the next time you hold your smartphone, drive your car, or send a message across the globe, remember, our modern world isn't just built on the inventions that succeeded. It's also shaped by the ones that were left behind, the inventions that changed America and then disappeared.